So you are spending a lot of time building apps in FlutterFlow without realizing there's a gold mine of hidden features and widgets just waiting to be discovered. In this video, not only we will explore how to use them, but how they can supercharge your FlutterFlow app development process smoother and more enjoyable. So let's get started. Okay, so you often forget where this specific setting in your FlutterFlow project is and you are having hard time finding that specific setting, then I can recommend you no other tool than this one. This is Command Palette and this is one of my favorite feature in FlutterFlow, and here you can search everything in your FlutterFlow project without having to do it manually. So if I want to navigate to a specific page, I can just write the name of the page and I will navigate to that page. And if I want to duplicate it, I can just duplicate the page and that will duplicate the page for me. Similarly, if I want to go to a specific setting like Firebase or app settings, I can just write the name of that settings or anything that is close to it, and it will find that setting and take me to that specific setting. So that saves a lot of time when building app with FlutterFlow. If you like to try different settings without having to manually type it in, this tip is for you. I use it all the time. So this is a sample page where I will show you how you can increment or decrement certain values just by using keyboard arrow keys. So you don't have to type it in every time. So this is a text widget where I will change the padding without having to type it in manually. So you can just use your keyboard arrow keys and that will change the padding. And if you want to switch to a different padding, you can just press tab and that will change the padding alignment, and you can do the same for that. You can even do it in an increment of 10 or 20, and the same way you can decrement it by just holding down shift and up the arrow keys and down. And this is a great way to increment or decrement the padding or any widget property that accepts a numerical value. This one is related to state management and performance of your application. Let's say I have a page that have more than one API calls. Here you can see I have two list views. One of them calls Algolia search and one of them use a third-party API which is a JSON placeholder. Normally, to refetch or re-update the API call, we use an empty app state that rebuilds the current page. This solution works most of the time, but it is not a recommended solution because that will rebuild everything on the entire page. And sometimes we do not want to recall the API because it might use extra resources on network calls and rebuilding the page. So what we do is a quick fix, which is already a built-in action in FlutterFlow, and which is refresh database request. So you can quickly refresh your database request and only rebuild a specific widget. Here how you can do this. Let's say I want to rebuild this Algolia search widget without having to rebuild the entire page. You can see here I have an action added on pull to refresh database request, and here I can select only the specific widget I want to rebuild. Similarly, if I want to rebuild this, I can use this action. I can remove this one, and here I can add another refresh database request, and I can select the specific widget I want to build. Here I can rebuild the API call list view and that will rebuild this page. So this is a great way to improve performance of your application. We can easily drag the widget from one position to another just like this, but this is not always the case. Let's say I want to drag the widget from start of the row to the end of it, but I don't see any blue highlights that let me drop the widget in that exact position. And to fix this, we go to our widget tree and manually try to drag the widget in that location. To do so, a quick fix is when dragging the widget, we hold down our shift key like this, and then when dropping the widget, we get lots of options to drag the widget in the specific widget. And here I can easily click the row and the widget will drop in that exact location. Furthermore, if you want to align the widget, you can do the same thing using your arrow keys by holding down shift and use your arrow keys to realign the widget in that exact location. Padding is a common method to add spacing and achieve uniform alignment in our design. However, there is another alternative approach where I can add spacing to multiple widgets at once without having to add padding separately, and that is via row column spacing. Here I have a design where I have evenly spaced my widget using padding. As you can see, I have to add padding separately. But if I go for row column spacing, I have this design where I can go to parent column and add spacing to all of the items at once. And I can do the same thing for rows. Here I can add both start and end spacing like this, and I have a design that is achievable the same way I do padding, but here I have to put very less effort and achieve uniform design. If you are building an application for someone else, you can transfer that project to their account without having to duplicate the entire project, and this is how. You go to settings, collaboration, and select the user you want to transfer the project to, and here I want to transfer my project to this user. I can simply select status and then transfer the project to that user. And this is how simple it is. You might have faced this issue many times when coding in FlutterFlow. That is, this code analyzer is not running and now you have to restart the page. An easier fix is to simply hide and unhide these settings, and that will refresh this code analyzer, and now you can get back to coding again. If you like to play around trying different color scheme and design for your application and find yourself changing the design on each page like this, then you will greatly appreciate Explore Project Colors. Let's go to Theme Settings and check out Explore Project Colors. You can simply select a page like this and go to Explore. Here you will have different templates already created by FlutterFlow, which you can test and see if it fits your design language. I can simply select a different page, test it in different modes, and once satisfied, I can save changes, and this design will apply to entire application within few clicks. So that was it, guys. I hope these tips and tricks will greatly help you in your FlutterFlow journey. If you need any help with FlutterFlow, you can always reach out to me on FlutterFlow community. Until next time, you keep building and keep exploring.